Today we're gonna have some wine. For the next 2 episodes, we're gonna have some wine because I am going to talk to you about my date. Okay. Dating is funny. It's an experience, it's an experiment, it's a journey, and the goal is for it to take you somewhere you want to go, right? And if you don't know where you want to go, then you'll just meet a lot of people to kind of fill that space until you find the one, or the one finds you, where you complement each other. And it makes sense. But until we get there, I have a story to tell you about a date that I recently went on. And then I'm going to tell you a story about the time I went out with a homeless man. Yes, I said it, a hobo. So that's going to be the next video. But today, we're going to talk about how your girl ended up on a date with a quote-unquote high-value man. And when I tell you it was under-delivered, we are now looking at that bus driver like, hey, Mr. Benefits, come over here. So get your wine or your tea and let's talk about it. Hey y'all. So are y'all ready for a nice entertaining video? Because not everything needs to be heavy. Even dating, it doesn't have to be heavy, right? The goal is for it to be fun, to learn something about yourself, and kind of just keep yourself out there, right? Or get yourself out there. So your girl did it. First and foremost, I had to get that out. Because sometimes you just need to laugh it out first, okay? It's your girl, Shay. I hope you're feeling amazing, because as you can see, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very alert, and I haven't had anything. Yes, this is a little bit of wine, but I feel really relaxed and alert. And I was like, you know what, let me do this video. So what inspired this video? I went on a date. And I don't date often. That's not really my thing. I'm more of a straight shooter. And what do I mean? Like, if I see you, I like you, I tell you. Or if I see you, I like you, I'll shoot some feminine energy. And if you're in your masculine, you'll feel it, okay? Like, if you can pick up the energy, you'll pick up the energy, and it's meant for you to pick up. And if not, it's not. A little background story. I have had experiences with dating in my 20s. I was more, I'm not gonna say I was outside. I wasn't really outside, but I was around women who I was very much impressed by their promiscuity. I said it. I was intrigued by a woman who was more open with her sexuality and who didn't mind saying, like, listen, I want to have sex. Like, I was open to it. Like, I received that energy well. I didn't do anything, but I received the women that were around me. And I was like, yeah, I could just go out there and get what you want. Like, what? I'll never forget the first time a dude called me over and was like, oh, yo, the way that I was back then is hilarious. I'll never forget the day this dude was like, oh, you want to come over and you want to have sex? And I was like, is this a booty call? I was like, this is my first booty call. Okay. So to tell you where your girl was. But I was in a relationship. The relationship had a very traumatic experience on me. So I kind of went down this spiral of like trying to find out who I was, which is why like I was attracting certain energies that I didn't realize I was attracting until I was in certain situations. And I was like, oh, see, one thing I've learned is when people who usually run around saying they love to have sex and they make it seem like it's so liberating, they're also the ones who have a lot of trauma and they're holding a lot. Because when I got into that world, I realized, oh, there's another side that they don't tell you about until you're in it. And then you realize like, oh, y'all fighting demons. Let me get out of here. I'm not on that type of time. So let's speed up. Yesterday, well, now I'm doing this video, I think it was like 2 days ago, I went on a date. And before I go dive in, if you appreciate this video, do like, comment, subscribe, enjoy, sit down and let this video do what it needs to do. It is going to be a funny one, I think, but I just want to put that out there because I might not say that too many times. So back into, if we remember the interesting, I was going to say something else, but the interesting Kevin Samuels, I give him credit for high value man, because after him, before him, I don't remember hearing that. I'm gonna be honest, I could be wrong, but I didn't hear it. And because I hear it, a man was a man to me, until you realize, like, oh, okay, he made a high value man seem of a certain level. Okay, he's financially secure, he communicates, he wants a certain type of woman, he provides a certain type of lifestyle, and all these things. And I guess according to his standard, the guy that I went out with was in that category of a high value man. Now let me tell you why he was a high value man. 31, no kids. He works in finance. He works on Wall Street, well versed in the sense of cultural. He has traveled to many countries. He speaks 5 or 6 languages. He's getting his degree in, he's getting his master's. I think he's finishing up soon. He has a nice car, lives on his own in Harlem. Beautiful. He's from Senegal, like beautiful skin. Attractive. Beautiful skin, dark skin, nice smile, nice eyes. I wanted to give out his positive qualities first, because this is not a bashing video. This is a mindful video, okay? I'm not in the business of bashing men, because I love my men. I do. And what happened was, the way we met, I was walking down the street looking like a snack, because y'all know I'm a personal trainer. And I had on my personal trainer outfit, like the leggings and the sweater, and I was just minding my business. And he stopped me, and he was very like, are you a model? And I'm like, boy, stop, I might be. So from there, we was having a really nice conversation. I loved his smile, and I love me some dark skinned men, okay? He's from the motherland, so he got that special dark, okay? And I was like, oh, the look of him was not what I would go for. And I know you're probably like, well, what does that mean? Like, I'm the type of woman, I'll know within 3 to 5 minutes if I would sleep with you. Like, I can know within a second. Like, I can look at you and be like, I will sleep with you. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to. That just means that there is a high attraction that is needed. I have to be attracted to my person. I'm not one of those people who say looks don't matter. They do. Over here, they do. And I like to be attracted to my man. Like, I'm not attracted to everybody, and everybody is not attracted to me. But listen, if we gonna do what we gotta do, we gotta want each other, okay? I've learned that works better for me. He didn't have that, but he was appealing in his essence. Like, his essence was enough for me to be like, okay, well, why not? He ended up saying, you know, I would like to get to know you. I would like to take your number. Now, one thing about me, you should know, I am a very optimistic, bubbly person, okay? I'm a Leo. Read about us. And because of that, I don't mind things like other people do. Like, I'm not so apprehensive. I'm not a pessimistic person. I'm bubbly, and I know that my energy attracts people. So I was open to it, like, okay, let's go. We ended up exchanging Instagram. Let me put a little ding into this. Do not give out your Instagram. I think it's easier to give out your number. Why? Because you could block them. Once they have your Instagram, they could take photos of you, save it in their phone. You don't know what they're doing. But I allowed him to have my Instagram because I wanted to see his face. Like, the second day, things start kicking in. The first day, it's like, okay, I saw you in person. Okay, but then you see the photos and it's like, I didn't see that when I saw you. You get what I'm saying? So I gave him mine, he gave me his, and he wrote me immediately, which I respect, okay? Because you came over here, so you need to hit me up quickly. That's just how I feel. He ended up writing me, and the energy was okay. He didn't say anything weird. At first, it was very much like, okay, so when are you available? When can we hang out? And I respected the fact that this man was about his business, meaning he was like, I see you, I want you, you're mine, okay? And I was like, okay, sir, listen, Wakanda forever. So what ended up happening was we set up a day, but I started to realize intuitively something was off. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, something's off. So I wrote him and I was like, you know what, black man, I don't think I'm gonna do this. I think this is not gonna work between us. I was like, there's something that I don't feel. Like, I don't wanna just say, yeah, let's go on a date because you wanna go on a date. Like, I need to know how I feel. He was like, okay, well, let me video chat you. So he video chatted me and I was not prepared, but I let it happen, whatever. I mean, I look good, period. I don't wear makeup. What you see is literally what you damn well will see. Okay. So he video chat. Wait, let me make sure this is still recording. Hold on. Okay, video chatting me. And as he was walking, this was a note. And it was a note. And I took heed to it. It wasn't a red flag. It was just a note. He was FaceTiming me and there was this woman walking by him who he did not know. And he randomly showed my face to her, and I saw her, she saw me, and I didn't know that he didn't know her until he removed himself from her and was like, yeah, I didn't know her. And I was like, what did you say to her? Why was my face there? And he was like, oh, I told her, look, this is my future ex-wife. And I was like, oh. I ain't never hear no nonsense like that. I'm your future ex-wife. That was a ding. Was it a red flag? I didn't know yet, mind you. Still trying to figure it out. Still just flowing. I'm not expecting. But I'm like, okay, what is that about? Move on. We actually plan a date, and as we plan the date, he says to me, do you have a, he's like, I want to take you out. And I was like, okay, where do you want to go? He's like, I want to take you to this nice restaurant. He's like, do you have a blue dress? And I'm like, I do. And he's like, well, can you wear this blue dress? And I'm like, oh, well, that blue dress is dirty. He didn't need to know that it was dirty because I didn't tell him that it's dirty. Don't say too much. I just was like, is there any other options to wear on this date? Now, ladies, I feel like this. If you're going to wear a dress. Feel comfortable. Be feminine. But this was our first date. Hoppo, I don't know you. I need to be comfortable in the sense of if I need to run, I got like, I can move. My legs are free. I wasn't wearing a first dress with you. I just couldn't do it. Why? I didn't know you. We were going out late. It was like after 9. No, I put me on some jeans and some shoes that if God forbid I needed to, I could, okay, escape quickly, fastly, and swiftly. So I ended up wearing jeans, and I told him like, okay, well, I'll wear some jeans or whatever. And I didn't understand why he wanted me to wear a blue dress. When I saw him, I was like, if I had wore a blue dress, was he gonna wear what he wore? What did he wear? I'm happy you asked. He had on a white wrinkled shirt with a fitted and some blue jeans. And I was like, okay, all right, well, that's your business. So I ended up asking him before we even got so far on the date. I said, if I was to wear this blue dress, were you gonna wear that? And I thought that was a logical question because you want to dress me, hobo. I mean, like, why do you want to dress me? And then, was this what you were gonna wear? So he huffs. That was another ding. And I'm like, why is this man huffing over a logical question? And he's like, well, I wanted you to wear the blue dress. And I was like, well, why did you want me to wear a blue dress anyway? He's like, because that's my favorite color. That was probably a red flag. Why? Because I'm thinking we had to go somewhere where a blue dress was required. You just wanted me to wear a blue dress. I'm not your lady, sir. I don't mind you saying wear this, but it was just, you just wanted me to wear it because it's your favorite color, and then you wasn't even going to match my energy. So he said, well, when you made it clear, or when you ended up not wearing your blue dress, I said, okay, let's just keep it casual. So I received that. But casual still means put a shirt on that's not wrinkled. Like, give me something. But I left it. I wasn't really too concerned about that. We end up driving off, and he says to me, are you hungry? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't eat. And he's like, okay, well, would you like to get tacos? Now, I was confused because he told me we was going to a French restaurant. So I'm like, how the hell did we get from Bonjour to Ecotera Papi? I don't know. But we ended up eating some tacos. Very, very good tacos. I'm not gonna say nothing about them tacos. Some tacos. I love me some good tacos. But I didn't understand how we went from here to there. I didn't get that. So we end up eating the tacos. Now here we go with the story. Got your wine? Here we go. We end up eating tacos and we're having a cool conversation, and he's just showing me all of his life. This is where the date starts to go from fail. He ends up showing me all of his life, meaning I had no space to ask him any questions. Why? Because he showed me photos of this and that and this and that and that. Okay, I felt like he's proud of his achievements. There's nothing wrong with a man showing or sharing his achievements with you. I don't mind. I'm not your woman. I'm still trying to get to know you. The energy I came with on this date was, I want to see if I can fit in his essence and if he can fit in mine without me having to say anything or not. Just seeing, do we compliment each other? That's the only thing I was looking for. I wasn't looking for no husband, no baby daddy. I was just like, okay, can we fit together? He made me laugh, which is a good thing, but it's not hard to make me laugh. I could walk down the street and see a baby about to fall out the stroller. I'll laugh. Like, I'll see I laugh at poop on the street. You don't get a reward for that. But we were laughing. We was having a good time. And then all of a sudden, he just started speaking in Spanish. And I'm like, oh, this man speaks in Spanish. That's when I realized, okay, he told me I know 6 languages. And I was like, okay, he fluent. Espanol. But oui. He ends up speaking in Spanish, and this guy next to him starts speaking in Spanish to him. Now, he asked me, do I speak Spanish? I said, no. I thought that that was enough for him to realize I can't have conversations in a different language if she doesn't understand the language, but I guess that did not register. He ends up saying to the man in Spanish, like a whole conversation. And I took that as a like, is he not here with me? Does he know this man? The guy ends the conversation before the guy that I'm with ends the conversation. And I'm just like, okay. We end up eating our tacos more. And then another guy comes up speaking Spanish, but the guy I'm with starts the conversation. He initiates this one, and he's talking to the guy, and now this one is going on a little too long, to the point where I'm just like, I'm done eating tacos and I'm just standing there looking like a girl just lost and confused. And they laugh, and they laugh hearty, and then he steps back and he points to me. Now granted, mama don't need to know language when I don't need to know that you're talking about me to know the language. Like, I can tell the frequency. So I say to him, what did you say to that man? He said, oh, I said, this is my future ex-wife, and she's a personal trainer. Doesn't she look good? And I'm like, this bitch keep calling me his future ex-wife. What the hell? Like, are you trying to curse this experience already? I'm confused. Is this a thing in your culture? I didn't understand. It was very weird. Left it alone. And I was like, so you made a reference about my body to a man that we don't know, and you wanted him to comment? And he's like, yeah, but the guy said he's not going to comment. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, because he's not a dick like you. He don't know. I'm going to take a sip. You're right. We end up driving along, and he's like, yeah, a friend hit me up and said they want to come with us to where we're going. I was like, well, where are we going? He's like, we're going to a rooftop. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I told my friend he can come along. I told my friend he can come along on our date where I'm trying to get to know you. Then he tells me, he's like, do you have a problem with that? And I'm like, no, bitch, of course not. I'm excited to meet your people, even though I'm trying to meet you. But I end up saying, yes, I do have a slight problem. I said, for you to invite your friend on a situation where we're trying to get to know each other, you don't think that's a little strange? Maybe you don't, but I do, because that's your people. I don't care about your people. I thought we were trying to get to know each other. I don't want to feel like a third wheel because he already knows you and I don't know you yet. So it's a little strange, but like I said, I'm just here to see what I need to see. And he's like, oh, I love how you communicate. They all love when you communicate until you communicate, right? He says to me, you know what, because you expressed yourself, I'm not going to have him come. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think I needed to tell you that. But he ends up telling his friend not to come. And he's like, my plan for the night is I want us to go bar hopping and on rooftops. And I'm like, how am I gonna get to know this guy if we're moving around a lot or if we're in crowded spaces? Like, I don't understand if he knows the concept of this. Like, I was okay with going for a damn walk with some tea, sitting down in the park. If I'm gonna get to know you, I want to get to know you. Like, I don't need too much noise because it's a distraction. And then it makes me feel like you're hiding your energy from me because you want to be in a loud, distractive place. Catch that. What ends up happening is we end up not bringing his friend. We get to the rooftop and he asks me a question and I thought it was okay. He was like, how do you feel about holding hands? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. If I'm into the person and I see that person as my person, that might be a little egotistical, but that's what I said. If I see this person as my person and the connection is connecting, why not hold hands? I thought that was a very logical, direct answer. Like, if I feel the need to, we could do it if we feel connected. He says a smart ass response like, well, I'm connected to Wi-Fi, so what do you mean connected? I'm like, bitch, I will pop your tires. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I'm like, it means if I'm interested in the person and I connect and it feels natural, why not hold hands? Like, I'm not gonna be weirded out, but I have to feel natural with it. This man, again, he's like, this is what he says, and I quote, well, I'm gonna answer your question, but I don't care how you feel about it regardless. It doesn't really affect me. And I was like, oh, strike two. Because to me, that was very weird. Like, why did you have to add that part? Like, just answer the question. Do you want to hold hands? Like, I didn't know. He never answers that question. We end up at the rooftop. While we're at the rooftop, guess what happens? You guessed it. He finds another person to speak Spanish to. Out of nowhere. This person stayed with us the whole night on the rooftop. The whole time. Let me make sure this is recording because I need you to get this. It is. He ends up speaking to this guy in Portuguese the whole damn night. And I'm just standing there. I even had to move around because I'm like, this don't make no damn sense. I didn't really learn anything about this man because I couldn't have time to really ask him questions. He showed me photos of everything. He was talking to me about everything. I didn't have time to ask what I wanted to know. I did not get the answers to because I didn't have damn time to ask the question. Now, I realized that he was high value because he was well off. Like, he's traveled, he speaks languages, he's relatable, he's sociable, he knows people in places to get us in places. Like, it made sense. But what I realized is there's no connection. And I realized men who are usually quote unquote high value, their goal is not to, or from my experience, their goal is not to really get to know you. It's mainly for you to be so impressed with them that you see yourself as the prize because they picked you. And it's like, they don't need to share all of their time with you. They don't need to check on you every 5 minutes. Like, they're not concerned about your well-being and if you're into them, because they're so into them. They take up enough room for everybody to be into them. And when I realized he was talking to the guy, I had said, like, do you date a lot? Like, do you know how this goes? And he's like, yeah, I've dated. And I was like, well, then I started, because I had 2 seconds to ask a question. I was like, well, what is your type? Like, what are you into? What are you looking for? He's like, well, I've usually dated white women. And that was strike 3. And the reason why that was a strike was his statement was, now, I don't care if you date white women. That's your business. But I'm not going to be the poster child for black women that you dated, meaning I'm number 1, because you don't know what to look for. You don't know if I'm overreacting. You don't know. Anything I could say could be a trigger because you've dated outside of your race consistently, that you don't even know the foundation of dating a black woman. That's how I feel, and he proved that. He says to me, well, you already won. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, well, you're ahead of 50% of the women because I can't bring those women home. My mom only wants me to bring home a black woman. And I was like, I know this. Did he just tell me I'm dealing with you basically because you're black? That has never happened. That ain't never happened. So that kind of took me off guard, because I'm like, so he's like, I've dated them, and usually if we want to be intimate, we're intimate. Like, some people would consider white women easy. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm just listening. And he's like, so when I deal with black women, there's more restrictions, there's more of mindfulness, like they're not okay with these things, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way because I like what I want. So I was just like, okay, this is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not connecting. You're too involved in getting to know other people. And what I realized was this. He knew physically he wasn't on my level. Physically, I was an upper hand. And this is not to say I'm the baddest girl in the streets, but compared to him and he knew, wow, I really got someone who looks good. And what it felt like was he was using his accolades. He was using his privileges of him knowing languages and being well known and well liked. And he was using what he's accomplished to overcompensate for the fact, like, I'm not on her league physically, so I'm going to kind of throw this at her. And it was a lot. It was a lot because it was not connecting. And I realized if this is what they call a high value man, I'm really okay with the bus driver, because at least I know I'll feel seen, I'll feel appreciated. We ain't got to do too much. And this is not to say that I've never dated a guy in that realm, because I date basic men. To me, they're basic. But what I'm saying is, if you want a high value man, you have to be mindful of what that comes with. And for me, I was not ready to deal with a man who every time I turn around, you're talking to other people, trying to show that you know what you know, and you're not so into me. So when we got in the car, I said, I'm ready to go. I said, this is not going to work. I was like, we're not compatible. I told him immediately, because I don't have time to play games. I was like, we're not compatible. This is not going to work. And I'm ready to go home. He's like, okay. He's like, whoa, where did that come from? And that's when I was like, you're not even mindful to read the room. I don't know you. When we get in the car, I asked him, what was the point of this? And he said, and I quote, well, if we had went out to eat at a restaurant, I would have been able to get to know you. And I'm like, well, honey, you're the one who switched the plan, because I look good. I can go to a restaurant if you want. Like, I didn't understand. The only way you wanted to get to know me is if we went to a restaurant. What kind of shenanigans is that? That's weird. And then I was like, it's strange because you switched that. I didn't switch that. We could have went out to eat, but whether we did or not, have time to get to know me, right? And I said, name 5 things that you learned about me. Simple, 5 things. He couldn't. He deflected. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I learned A, B, C, D, E, F, G about you. Letting him know you were over explaining and showing and sharing that I had no choice but to listen and receive the information. Whereas you didn't ask me or seek to understand me to the point where you can't even recite 5 basic things that you learned about me. Get out of here. So we ended the date. He was upset. I didn't really care. I blocked him, moved on. moved on. And I want to tell you this, dating is an experiment. It's something that you have to keep doing it to kind of feel it out. But I'm going to tell you this, you get better, or the goal is to get better as you go. But if you don't remember anything that I have said, think about the next time you ask for a high value man. Are you willing to receive what that comes with? If you notice, I didn't tear this man down at all because there's no need to. The main thing is we were not compatible because he already knew what it was, and I think I knew what it was. And I think that he knew what it was. And he was just like, I'm going to throw this. He tried to bomb me. Each time he was talking, he was like, yeah, I know all the restaurants and I know places we could go and we could go here and we could do that. And a weak-minded individual would be so intrigued by what this man was saying to the point where it's like, oh, if I stick with him, we could go to these restaurants. We could do these things. And I wasn't intrigued. I didn't give a damn because I had to realize Spirit will provide me with enough income so that I can date me. Or at least when I do go on dates, I'm not so enticed by what they can do for me. I'm more interested in how we click together, how we feel together. Because when he kept throwing around, oh, I could take you here and I could show you that, I'm like, does he think I'm some weak-minded woman who's just gonna suck up the feeling that I don't feel seen, heard, or reciprocated in this day just so I can push through and try to see if it can happen the next time around so we can go to a nice restaurant? My daddy issues are healed. Stop it. So if you like this video, do share, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to do another video on how I went out with a homeless person because I'm learning. Pray for me here. Peace.